is day 31 of the 100-day project and my hashtag not precious project, in which I have been altering. You saw this a minute ago, you know what I'm altering, this snippet roll with all these luscious papers. And let's see, I have gathered a few more not precious items from my stash. I keep adding, I keep thinking of things that can be added. Like yesterday, I thought of, where did I put them? These reinforcers, these Simpulse reinforcers, which are great little circles and donut shapes that, have just been lingering in my stash for I don't even know how long, forever. And that made me think of this other thing of stickers I have, which I've got labeled as for layering, but that's what I'm doing, y'all. These snippet rolls are not the be-all end-all. There's going to be things on top of them, so these are good layering things. So I've grabbed some of them. Some of these have been in my stash a very long time. Some have been gifted to me. Both of these were from Your Creative Studio that I unboxed. So yeah, I'm gonna just sit and do some of these things, add them. I don't have a whole lot of time today. Well, I have plenty of time today, but I want to do some thrifting today. So I'm gonna get on this and see what the day holds.
That was a little bit better introduction than my last video. Y'all, when I filmed these videos, I didn't know where I was going to break them up, and it was hard for me to kind of know when to do an introduction and when not. So that was a little bit better. I'm going to direct you to up in the right hand corner. I'll put a link to the beginning of the snippet roll series so you can find out more about it. And at the end of this video, I will have a link to my whole Not Precious project playlist, so you can catch up on that if you don't know what's going on. But basically, for this project, and this video is going to have days 31, 32, and 33. But for this project, I have been taking things that were in my stash and that I hesitated to use because I felt like it needed to be worked into something bigger and better and more important and that kind of thing. And I don't know why, I didn't just make those bigger and better and more important things to get from the get-go. So that's what I'm trying to do this year for the 100-day project. It has now ended. In fact, the day I'm recording this voiceover is day 100 of the 100-day project. So it has just finished by the time you will see this video. But these days were, 70 days ago, so like more than 2 months ago that I recorded this. So I apologize. And I'll have links at the bottom to the reels or Instagram posts that I did post on those days, so you can get another look at that and some of what my, whatever I wrote about it on those days. So, all right. So as you can see, I stuck down a couple of things and then decided to do some French knots. I do love some French knots. They add both a visual texture and an actual tactile texture to things. So once I got those on there, I'm using, that was some medical paper tape, which is super thin tape, and put that on the back to kind of secure down that bit. And here's some of those stickers from Your Creative Studio, and we're going to work through this. I'm going to go ahead and voice over as much of this as I can, just because I know some of y'all are curious. Now this little bit here, y'all, I told y'all in the last video that I save every little snippet of things. I had some kind of package of something from somebody and they had stitched it up, and the paper was super cool, so I cut the paper down, but then I had these little bits of paper that had been run through a sewing machine with zigzag stitches, and I felt like they were great texture too, so I cut them out. So yeah, this snippet roll is such a great way to do this. And if you don't want to make a roll like this, like you feel like it's too cumbersome, I suggest maybe just doing a master board of some kind that you can cut down for other projects. So, all right, so what am I doing now? I think I'm working with a buttony thing, maybe some fabric and a button. Yep, there's a little bit of torn lace, and then I've got, y'all, do you see what I've done? The ends of the thread that I cut off from where I just done those French knots, I'm fraying it, sticking it underneath a button, sticking it all down, and yep, instant texture. I am using every little tiny thing. It is, ooh, it's a bit much, isn't it? Yeah. So, and I've got bowls and bags and boxes and zippered pouches and glass jars filled with all kinds of tiny things like this that I don't use. So, I may have to just make some snippet rolls maybe to sell or something and use up some of these. Or if I decided to sell something like that, what would you prefer? Would you prefer the snippets themselves to have a mix of your own? Or would you want a pre-made snippet roll? I would love to hear. Because I can totally see getting into the groove of just making rolls like this. But at the same time, I just need to get some of this stuff out of my house. All right, guys, this is an interesting piece. It is some kind of floral ribbon, I think, from the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to show you how I end up sticking it down. I'm cutting it down to size for my snippet roll. And I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? It's such an open weave. So what I end up doing is putting my Uhu right on my snippet roll, sticking that webby stuff down. I'm using a silicone spatula there to kind of press it down. I've got something else, a bit of lace or something I'm sticking on top of it. And I'm going to come back in here with a paintbrush and some matte gel medium and just go over the whole thing with it to make sure it is nice and secure. So that was, yeah, just because there's more holes in that than actual fabric to attach, I wanted to make sure I made it, yeah, got it down there well. So once I tried that, I'm coming back in, and here's another. I did this in the last video too, and I'm going to do it with several pieces in this video, but things that have like a cardstock or a thicker paper, I am, if I can, tearing the backs off of them to make them less bulky, because the thicker and bulkier they are, as I roll and unroll this roll, the more likely they are to pop off. So, yeah, and things that I do think will pop off. In some cases, I'm throwing a few stitches on it. Now, this is a sticker. That's one of the other Your Creative Studio stickers I had, and just sticking it down. I did remember to ink the edges on some of these things. I am basically using an ink blender and some walnut stain distress ink, and that is about it for it. When I ink it, I didn't bring any black or anything else. It's just a brown. So if you have vintage photo, or I guess I don't even know if they make tea dye anymore, but another brown distress ink, it would work just fine. I'm throwing in the Rick Rack and digging through again. There's one of those little buckets I have that are just kind of off on the side. And y'all, now that this 100-day project is coming to an end, one of the things I am most looking forward to is cleaning up. For 100 days, I have been making, and there is stuff everywhere. So I'm hoping to, here in the next several days, kind of get my spaces back together, back in order, pick some things up, get rid of some things, sort some things, decide if I ever will make something with some of these precious bits. And yeah, so that's what I'm looking forward to. In fact, I have a whole blog post I did last week. I'll put a link to that below about why I do the 100-day project and kind of winding down things as I come to the end of it. So I encourage you to check that out. Because it has a lot about how I enjoy like the buildup of it and having 100 things, or making for 100 days and knowing I'll have things made. But at the same time, when you get to the end of it, it's such a release. Like, oh my gosh, I can do anything I want. And right now what I want is to clean up my space. I have quite a few ideas for some other projects, and iCAD is starting, which is another daily project. If you don't know about iCAD, I encourage you to go check out. She is Tammy Garcia. Her website is Daisy Yellow Art, and I think that's daisyyellowart.com, but she's also Gypsy999 on Instagram. And it is a project in which you make art for 61 days, running June 1st through the end of July. Is that a 31st? Well, I think it is. I think it's July 31st. And you just alter an index card. You can use the prompts she has, or my friend Nina Fickett has some mixed media iCAD prompts she does, or you can go promptless. I kind of alternate between what I'm feeling.
Hey y'all, it's Hope here, and it's day 32 of the 100 day project and my hashtag not precious project. I'm trying to move my coffee out of the way. I think I need to change this or flip it over or something. So I'm about to work on my snippet roll again for a little bit. I don't know how I feel about this chain stitch here. I keep going back and forth, so I'm gonna think on it. It may end up getting pulled out if I have to. I'll just flip this over here right now. I'll work on this nut sticker. Is not one to stick. I may have to put some matte gel medium on it, but we're gonna pull this out. I don't know. We still have quite a bit more of this. All right, we're gonna just keep at it. I've still got some of the same things from yesterday. I haven't pulled out anything new today. I'm gonna try to keep an eye. Oh, it's already blinking. I'm gonna change my battery real quick, and then we're gonna get to this.
All right, so that caught me unaware. I forgot that I had broken each of these. So getting it back to this, you can see I am just picking out more things. Some of the same things we've seen before. These are more of the stamps that I picked up at a yard sale. And even though I think they're self-adhesive, or not self-adhesive, but like an old-time stamp that you can lick the back of them, I still use the Oohoo. So, and I'm clipping down things and messing with things. Now, I was mentioning the 100, not the 100 day. I was mentioning iCAD, and I will try to put links to all of those, everybody's stuff below for you to check that out. But if you have any questions about the snippet roll, about this, please don't hesitate to ask me. I think I was starting to say that my iCAD last year, I used the prompts as best I could, but my whole series, I'll put a link in the upper right to the playlist on that. I think I did like a vlog series. Yeah, it was my first attempt at a vlog series and doing stitches for every day. So I was learning different embroidery stitches. Now I'm going to tell y'all that it was fun to do, but most of that didn't stick with me. I still have to go grab the books that I used as reference and do those, like, relearn those stitches all the time. I'm like, oh yeah, how do I do that? Remember how I did that? So that's all iCAD. And if you're not interested in iCAD, I apologize. It's just one of those things that I really enjoy because it's a daily thing and it doesn't have to be overwrought. You can work on either 3x5 or 4x6 index cards. Tammy asks that it not be larger than 4x6, I believe. But yeah, and it's just a little bit of art every day, and I kind of love that. It's a great way for me to kind of start my day and get my creative juices flowing for whatever will come next. And I'm hoping I don't destroy my craft room in my office in the process, because like I said, I've got plenty of other ideas that I have kind of put off doing during these past 100 days, and I'm ready to get on them. All right, so yes, if you have questions about some of the things I'm sticking here, there's just some, those are some old stickers I found with like birds and flowers. Oh, maybe not birds, butterflies and flowers. And of course, I've got, oh gosh, whatever I can find on here. There's some more. That is another piece of paper that I'm tearing the back off of. And some of these are like ephemera pack type things that I've picked up from places. Some of them are actual ephemera. Ooh, I don't know why I couldn't get that word out. I use that word all the time. But I did peel the back off to lighten it. Now you'll see I kind of make just a call with some of these pieces. Some of them you'll notice I tear them in half or down down the edges or something like that, so I'm not using the whole thing, like this little bit of one of those grocery, oh, somebody said what they were and I don't remember what they are, the grocery stamp type things. I cut those in half just because, it's adds some interest. And what was this? This was a sticker from it's a like a travel sticker set that I inked it up before I put it on there. I'm going to try to ink it some more because it's super shiny. And then dipping in, these, y'all, are some of my favorite things that I got again from Your Creative Studio, because they're fairly thin. They look like old like newspaper clippings, and that one I did tear, which means now I have two different stickers I can put down. But that works great for me too when I don't want what's on there to be like red. Speaking of red, here is something bright. Now, I have mostly been sticking to, if you watch my other videos, I've mostly been sticking to kind of a monochromatic thing, throwing in a little bit of blue, and then I did put some red in as well in a couple spots. So that, which is very surprising that I added the red. So this kind of corally red pink kind of went with some of it, but not overly so. All right, there is, yep, that's, if you saw my last video, was it my last one? I don't even know. That is some, what do you call it? Transparent, like Scotch tape with alcohol ink on it to make it look old. And I'm stitching it down because those are a bit shiny and I don't care for that, but I think the stitching draws the eye away from the fact that that is shiny. Okay, so we're getting with those. I'm trying to see how much time we have till the next day because I interrupted myself a minute ago. I did try to set a timer with these, and I do have these videos sped up 4 times speed because this video was super long, and the fact that I got it down to 40 minutes, I still don't know how I did that because, yeah, it was really long, but I don't want you to miss any of this. This whole process for me was meditative and fun. It's sped up like this. It doesn't seem that way, and I've clipped out some of the downtime and that kind of thing, but I promise you, just sitting there and like picking up little pieces and deciding where I needed to add a little more texture, a little more text, or some kind of stitching was really a lot of fun. So yeah, look at that. Some of these you can see too that I liked taking some of these bits and crinkling up, which I felt like gave them even more texture, especially when I inked them, because it would pick up some of the crinkles with the ink. It was yummy. This is a big piece of lace here, and y'all, I love this big piece of lace. I don't even know like what prompted me to stick it down there, but it is one of my favorite things. And here I go grabbing some more buttons. Now what I'm going to do, I believe, with this button, we're gonna see, I pick out one button and I grabbed a little bit, I think it is some gold. Yeah, it is gold embroidery floss, and I'm not even gonna grab a needle. Yeah, see, I'm trying to get the ends to stop fraying. I am going to crisscross, go in through the front so that there's a tail, and then basically do all the stitching with this, but making sure that both ends come out the top, and then I tie a double knot. It is a technique I really love. I trim it down so it can be frayed, and it gives it, like a little bit of texture. And with this being the gold, it also gives it that sparkle. Yeah, it's super fun. If you have questions about that, y'all let me know, but it's something I've done many times. All right, this is it's an alphabet thing. It's super white, and you can see I inked that up a lot to push back that bright white. So if you look at this, the only things like really bright white on all of it are lace, which has that old feel, but that sticker piece was, I don't know, not only was it bright white, it was it was shiny. And y'all know me, that's not my jam. one shiny alphabet sticker. So yeah, I made sure to ink that up. I could have even taken like a little bit of sandpaper or a nail file or something like that. Okay, and there, that paper was so brittle that I pushed a hole in it, so I'm going to tape that up. And I think there's a piece or two here that I end up cutting out of the video where I go down the whole line and make sure there's nothing else with tears in it. Now that is a bit of a piece of book spine that's kind of just brittle and whatever, but it has, y'all, the best texture. So I put that down. And I think this is more of that tape, but for some reason, I guess it's not sticky. It could be a piece of packaging that I was like, you know what, we're going to stick it down to. There's no telling. I was just grabbing everything I could. There's that other piece of that, alphabet sticker stuff. I had lengths. Somebody sent me that, and I had lengths and lengths and lengths of it. And this seemed like such a great way to use it because it just adds a little texture. And this is also something somebody sent me. It's a little sticker book, and it's got some great little images, but everything is really bright white and pink and all of that. Not really my jam. So using that bit of walnut stain really did help give it the age and the grunginess that I super love. Y'all know that. I feel like I'm repeating myself. Y'all let me know. Is this too much talking? Would y'all prefer if I just let the music play and y'all can see what I'm doing? I feel like that by doing the voiceover for this, I'm getting to point out some of the things that I felt were important in here. And if I just stuck some music in, I'm not going to review this video as well as I would like, I think is the best way to put that. Yeah. Now, like I said in my last video, in case you missed that, I am trying when I stick these things down to stick them in different directions. So with the things that are there to be read, it can be read. It's not all, from this direction down. I'm going to turn them sideways or upside down in some cases, just so that I'm not stuck with the same thing over and over again. So there, I think I got another button out, and this little piece of fabric that I'm going to tack down with some oohoo, and there's that button. And so I guess I'm looking for some thread or trying to decide what I'm going to do. We're coming to the end of this one here. So I've got that little bit of thread. I'm going to put a knot in and real quick tack that on. And that may be the last thing I do before day 33. And we'll be finishing up this snippet roll here in just a minute. Yeah, I'm going to tie that off and probably put some tape on it and finish this out.
Hey y'all, I have a few minutes while my husband has run out to pick up lunch and I thought I'd work on this for a little bit. This is day 33 of the 100-day project and my not precious project. So I'm not sure how much I have left here. So we're gonna see how it goes. I don't have my clip on there. Oh, there was a clip in the other room. I was like, where did this clip come from? I should have known. So I'm going to roll this up a little, clip it if I can without damaging anything else, and get started. Get started on finishing. How about that? Hopefully. Let's do it.
So here we are again, inking stickers. That's just where we're starting. There's, I do finish this roll in this last day. I felt it was important to just go ahead and do it so that I could move on with whatever was next. But I did enjoy the snippet roll. I mean, thinking back over these last 100 days, this is probably one of my favorite things I did and it took days. I mean, this last portion here was an entire week of adding little things every day. So it's a nice project to just have. And if you wanted to do like the sections and then tape them together or whatever, I suppose you could do that. This is my first time doing a snippet roll, so I would love to know if you've done it some other way. I did do a little bit of research looking at other people's snippet rolls to be like, okay, how are they done? Should I do this in a certain way? Is there something that makes it a snippet roll that maybe I need to keep in mind so that I'm doing it right and can call it a snippet roll? But I think the big things are that, one, you're using snippets, and two, it's in a roll. So that's what I've done here. Now here's another piece of paper that I peeled the back off. I did cut that down because I struggled with getting the back off, like separating those layers of paper, but it's so much easier to use, and I feel so much better knowing that's thin. But if you don't have the time or the patience to separate it, I'm surprised I did, honestly, then don't, go with what feels right to you. And see, like that ticket that I've got there with the 5, that is nice and thick and would be perfect separated, but because of its age, I think I knew it would tear if I tried to separate it. So instead, I'm just going to ink it, and stick it down. Now, these pages here toward the end get kind of dark on me. I don't know if you noticed the difference. I used a bit of what's it called? Graphite stick. And so I think, and also some like gray acrylic ink that made these last sections get a little dark and dreary on it. So I don't even know if I noticed it while I was adding things to it, but I know I wanted to lighten it up a little bit. So, and here's some frilly lace. The Fabri-Tac there is, I have found to be such a versatile glue for sticking things and having them stuck fast. So if not that, I would recommend even like an E6000 does okay, and a tacky glue could also work really well. And y'all, I've got to say, a wood glue is amazing, especially when you're working with wood. But I have found that stuff dries really quick, like quicker than you expect it to. Now there I did ink the edges of the snippet roll itself. I think it had some areas that just didn't feel like it blended in with everything else. Like I said, that this whole section felt a little dark, so I just darkened it up so it didn't feel so oddball-y. Now, in some areas, I am sticking down specifically like that little bit of not zigzag, rickrack, to cover up something. Maybe there was an edge there I didn't like, or because I don't really like sharp edges on things. So if there's a sharp edge that I don't like, yeah, that's going to get a little bit of the something on the edge of it. Does it seem like that sped up really weird? Yeah, I don't know. Now here's another piece of lace, and I decided I didn't like it just as the lace it was. I'll grab some of my threads that are on my pin cushion. Oh my gosh, couldn't come up with the word pin cushion, and just put a couple stitches in it to make this some kind of weird textural element. It works because this is just a little snippet of nothing. Not even like futzing with tying it a proper way. You see, I'm like double knot here, and I'm going to trim it down and use that Fabri-Tac to just stick it down. And it's a funky little thing just stuck on this snippet roll. Oh my gosh, y'all, I have too much stuff. That's, I think, was one of the things with the snippet roll, that I was able to use so much of my stash and so many things that I hadn't been using because I felt they were precious or needed something important, like those little Tim Holtz reinforcers or some of the other stickers I've got. Like, I feel like I save them, but to what end? I don't even know. Now, I did clip that down there, y'all. I pulled out a handful of buttons and picked out 3 buttons I wanted to sew on, and then knotted my thread on my needle, and I used that paper tape to, I think this paper was super thin, so I used a couple layers of the paper tape on the back to just give a little more stability to the paper before I stitched on this little line of 3 buttons, which I think is really funny that I'm voicing this because I just finished my day 100 project and it has a line of 3 buttons on it too. How funny is that? And did you see that I pulled? And that is the end of my snippet roll. Not the end, but you know, we've just got a little bit left. Okay, so this is all we have left really of the snippet roll, and I'm going back to some of the stickers I had at the beginning that I had pushed aside and forgot I had, dipping back into that tin of things I have from Mad Fox Studios. And that's that cigar box label thing that has the gold and the red on it, and I really love that. It gives a great pop, even though I tend to prefer like blues and things like that. That red really just draws the eye, and so yeah. And it's in that one little cluster of an area, so. Oh, y'all, looking at me pulling all these things out makes me realize that some of those things are still pulled out. And that was, what did I say, like 70 days ago? just under 70, because today's day 100 and this is day 33. So what, 67 days ago? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've got a mess to clean up around here. All right, so there's a couple little extra things. This is, oh gosh, it's some kind of scrapbook sticker thing that I think I ended up peeling the back off of that one because that was such a thick sticker too. And I knew that right there at the end, that roll has to be fairly tight on there. So I wanted to make sure that was really nice and thin. And I think I even thought about that with this bit of rickrack that I'm putting it down this across the snippet roll, because that's the way the snippet roll is going to bend, and that way it won't pop up there. And I love that I layered a second one here because that's just another color of it. I've got to go get some more Fabri-Tac, y'all. I've used it up, and it is yeah, I have trouble getting it to come down where I've got a little thing that Nina Fickett gave me that will keep it upside down, but I lost the actual top that goes with it, so I can't use it. So I've got that pin that Nina did send me to keep in it, and that works great, but I can't store it upside down with that. I've got to go get a new bottle and get yeah, that might be a nice trip to the craft store, get some Fabri-Tac. Anyway, y'all, now I'm just blathering. I am so sorry. Y'all are definitely going to have to let me know how you feel about me just talking through this. I have a hard time, like, coming up with what I should say. Oh, look at me scrunching that up. Oh, I wanted that to be nice and crinkly, whatever it is. I think also the crinkling of it makes the paper softer, like breaks up some of those fibers a little bit. And like I said, there at the end of this roll, everything's going to be like rolled up really tight, and I don't want it to possibly just pop off. So here I think I make some little X's all over it. I didn't want to add a whole lot of stiff paper or anything else to this, but I knew some stitches in here would give it, that would be pliable enough to be able to be rolled there at the end, but it would also add a bit of stunning texture, and this is, I'm trying to think, that is, you can kind of see up there in the upper right, it's some crochet thread that I had picked up at the thrift store. And yeah, in an effort to not make it precious, I'm using it. Look. Look at me using something I just got. And I'm going to tell you, I'm doing that now. I'm trying to look at things and say, go ahead and use these things. Stop buying things. It's like the ephemera haul I went ahead and got some of that in the Etsy shop rather than hanging on to it and thinking about it too hard. Because guys, I have ephemera in my stash I've had there forever. I don't well, not literally forever, but a very long time. Now this I'm going down is a bit of canvas drop cloth that I believe I rust dyed. And of course I'm going to have trouble with the Fabri-Tac again. And I don't know why. I think here at the end of this, I got real fiddly about trying to fill up as much space as I could on this. And I really didn't need to. I forgot that in general, I want these to just have a little bit of texture on them and be something that I can grab when I need to make a stack of something, when I need a little bit of texture. So I got super fiddly here at the end, trying to use up all the stuff I had pulled out. And yeah. But anyway, we're getting real close to the end of this. I've got one more little section here that I actually recorded on talking, and then you'll get to watch me roll the whole thing up, which should hopefully give you a good look at the snippet roll. I do have some pictures I took, and like I said, down below in the description box, I will have links to my Etsy, not my Etsy, oh my gosh, links to my Instagram, where for each of these days that should hopefully give you another good look at what I did. And this one, look, y'all, I added a big button on here. It's super cool. You'll see that in the photos here at the end. So, okay, we're going to get to this last little talkie. Well, not last, the last live talkie portion that I did. And then we'll finish everything up. Okay, thank you for hanging in there with me while I talk through all of this.
I swear, as soon as I turn the camera on to talk, the dog loses her mind every time. I've been sitting here waiting for her to stop barking at, I don't know, somebody driving down the street. There she goes again. Anyway, I have finished the snippet roll, and I'm about to begin the process of getting it back on the roll. I took it all completely off to finish it, and then unrolled it to measure it. It is 8.75 inches long, which is feet long. 8.75 feet long, which is 105 inches. Yeah. So I'm now going to use a piece of washi tape. I think this is some Tim Holtz, and go to the end down here and tape it on. This may be too big. Don't need that much. And begin the process of rolling it. So maybe I'm hoping y'all can see some of it as I do this. Let me move some of these things off, make it less crazy here. Okay, and I will fast forward the rest of this.
And that is it for the snippet roll, y'all. I'm going to stick this washi tape on there and roll it up. Hopefully you can get a look at some of this, and as well as the pictures and Instagram. But if you have any questions about any of it, don't hesitate to ask. I will try to remember and let you know if there is something you need. I'll get started on the next video for this 100 Days series. But I hope that you found some inspiration in this. I know I have. I'm looking forward to using this snippet roll. Maybe in my iCads. Ooh, I hadn't considered that. That would be awesome. Okay. If you like this, make sure to give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. And I will see y'all later, guys. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Bye.